one thing: the due course and the law must take its course.
Nation building.
Administration is slightly different from the last one in the fight against corruption.
We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in Hausa yang nakama. They are like agberu in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
What happened in Benue might be political. It still has an undertone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history,
It's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background, and today we are here in TSTV, and that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse, weekdays on NCTV.
Hello, good morning and welcome to National Discourse. We all know that a lot has been going on in a particular state in this country. We are talking about Kogi State, ranging from the field between Yahaya Bello, the governor there, and then going back to the recall process, the failed recall process, and then again to the arrest and rearrest of Senator Dino Melaye. All you'd want to know inside Kogi politics is all we're bringing your way today. So we implore you to just sit back, and then you can call us your contributions or question with the number that'll be hitting your screen very, very soon. I remain your host, Uche Uduma. We'll go for a short break, and when we come back, I will introduce the guest that will deal with this topic. It is Inside Kogi Politics. Please stay with us.
Welcome to National Discourse.
Current affairs.
We must not extricate anybody from corruption. If any one of them is found wanting, the due course and the law must take its course.
Nation building.
Administration is slightly different from the last one in the fight against corruption.
We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in Hausa yang nakama. They are like agberu in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
what happened in Benue might be political. It still has an undertone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history,
it's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background, and today we are here in TSTV, and that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse, weekdays on NCTV.
All right, you welcome back. I have Mr. Goodman in the studio. He's a political analyst that will help us deal decisively with this topic. And of course, someone that is very conversant with the Kogi terrain and of course, its politics. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, madam. How are you?
My name is Uche.
Uche, how are you?
I'm fine. You're welcome. All right. Having introduced the topic, we're looking at Kogi politics. You know, people are very eager to know what is happening right now in Kogi State. Like I said, ranging from the challenge or the feud that have been going on between Governor Yahaya Bello and Senator Dino Melaye. And then this did not just start with the arrest. You know, if we can recall back, we discovered that there was a time the three senators, you know, placed a campaign against the governor trying to sell the properties of Kogi State government. So we want to know the state of Kogi politics like today.
Well, sadly enough, if it's possible for me as a person to change my state, I will have done that. Because
you are from Kogi State? I
am from Kogi State, from the Eastern Senatorial District. Every Kogi today, very much ashamed of themselves, he or she. Our story is so pathetic, but my pain personally is young men are running down the place. We are clamoring for youth, but young men are running down the street. But thank God that the pedigree of that particular young man who is presiding over the running down the mill in the state.
Who exactly are you referring to here? Can we go down to
talking
specifics?
about the governor of the state. That's the most powerful person in the state, the #1 citizen of the state. His success is our success. If a governor is doing well, everywhere, every component, every aspect of the state should be well doing. And if he's not doing well, everybody is going to be a sufferer of any particular policy or decision he takes at any given time.
Okay, now from your own perspective, linking it up to your earlier statement that if it was possible for you to change your state, you would have. Now, can you quickly, in a few seconds, give us the achievements of Governor Yahya Bello? What has he been able to achieve for his state?
His achievement is he has successfully destroyed the state, the structure of the state, the foundation of the state. This is his achievement. His major achievement, he has destroyed the structure and disunite the people. And we refuse to be set up against ourselves. We have the understanding because he has a limited time to stay. We know what is happening and we know the solution. He has no social contract with the people in the first place. He was never voted in by anybody. He didn't go around the state to tell them, vote for me. If you vote for me, if I win, I'll do this for you, I'll do that for you. So we don't have issues with that, since he did not go into any negotiation, any discussion, any contract, social contract with us.
What exactly was the process of him coming to power?
The process is that he was brought by the power that be. He was forced on us, imposed on us.
Was there an election in Kogi State? Was there no proper election in Kogi State?
There was an election which I was a candidate. I participated in that election.
Okay. You were a gubernatorial
candidate? Yeah, I was
candidate.
the gubernatorial candidate of APGA.
Okay.
Yes, and I took third in that election. He wasn't in the race. He was an aspirant. He tried to secure to be the standard bearer of the party. He couldn't succeed in getting the party. The late Prince Abakar referred to them as NYC boys who are not experienced enough to serve the state. So he couldn't emerge. But when the unforeseen happened, and Audu kicked the bucket suddenly, may his soul rest in perfect peace.
Amen.
And then there was confusion in that camp, and INEC, instead of taking the lead, INEC was misled by the power that be, though that they were appointed by somebody, so they should be loyal to who is paying their salary. So the law was suppressed there. We all went to the tribunal, from Tribunal Appeal Court and Supreme Court, and we got a judgment that not even a Madaki, a group of persons will give. It was so, we're so
that
surprised.
judgment came from a court of competent jurisdiction?
Yeah, the judgment came that the man, one, he didn't register in Kogi State. Two, he did not win the primary. They're supposed to organize a primary immediately to follow due process of selection. He was not registered in the state when the constitution stipulates that you must be able to vote and be voted for wherever you are seeking for an office. He registered in Wuse, Abuja, Tudunwada in particular. The only person who will have survived what he survived should have been a presidential candidate who can register anywhere, because the entire country is your constituency. But the young man just transferred his voter's card to Kogi about a month ago, which you journalists announced it. Uche was surprised the way things went in Kogi State. It was so sad.
No.
Not even in a banana republic that this can take place.
All right. If I can take you back to your words, the process that brought him in is wrong.
Completely wrong.
Even when the matter went to the court. Are you alleging that there was conspiracy that even involves the judiciary?
A court is an arm of any government in place, and a court by this should be an extension of a APC. The same thing happened when the former
Sorry,
party
did you say the court is an extension of
the
APC?
court is an extension of this government, an extension of the party, is an arm, a wing of this political party, and any party in government.
And that still lies your personal opinion about it.
It is not personal, it's this general opinion. You know that there is no justice in Nigeria. That court you are seeing, judgment is prepared and enveloped. When you pay the fee, you get it. That's all. You can see what happened in Kenya when the election of presidential election was nullified. Have they ever even nullified the governorship election here?
Okay, now going back to this, Governor Yahaya Bello has been on seat for 24 months now, roughly. He came into power January 2016.
Yes.
Until now, nothing has happened.
We're in May. He has been on seat for 28 months now.
Okay.
Not 24, 28
Okay.
months now.
Okay.
And nothing has happened. Instead, the state has gone down for 28 months. Workers are not paid for 28 months. We have lost about 30% of the workforce to death, about 60% to paralysis, 20% to what do we call, to kidnappers and robbers. They have kidnapped them. Some died in the kidnappers' den. Some cannot afford to buy Panadol to swallow, common Panadol. So the major event in Kogi State today is funeral ceremony. You are either coming from a wakekeeping or you are attending a Fidao prayer. Fidao prayer is the prayer that is done normally 8 days after Islamic burial. So the common event in Kogi today, burial, Fidao, wakekeeping, and visit sick ones in the hospital.
Now, against that backdrop, your governor granted an interview with Channel Televisions where he told them that Kogi State is socially, economically, and politically stable as he speak. So what is your take on that?
Uche, journalists in Nigeria today are almost close to the judiciary. They are no longer objective. Journalists are supposed to go and do their investigation properly and then report the facts from their findings. You don't stand in Abuja and a man who has an envelope for you through the back door, or Ghana must go for you. You cannot ask him any serious question on television. You always listen to him and report back verbatim whatever he has told you. Are journalists not supposed to go and meet the workers? Are journalists not supposed to go and see the town? The man that destroyed about 9 roundabout. That's the first thing he did in Kogi State. 9 roundabout were destroyed. These are monuments. These are built with taxpayers' money. They beautified the state. They've been there. He destroyed them. We cannot even put replace one up till now.
Did he state any reason for such actions?
I wouldn't know. He's a fetish man, so his reason shouldn't be about anything else out of that, because you can see that if you are not aware, I am aware, he gave Masquerade, his Masquerade, an official car to use, and gave the Masquerade some millions. And Masquerade belongs to the other world. What would they do with the earthly things? What will the Masquerade do with the car? What would the Masquerade do with money here? So he gave the Masquerade millions of naira and gave the Masquerade a vehicle to use to wear. So you can't tell me you don't know what is happening in Kogi State. If you don't know, I'm here to tell you without fear or favor.
That is exactly why we brought you here, for you to update us on what is happening in Kogi State. And a good thing is your state. Now, going back to his process, the process that brought him in or brought him in power. You know, there are some pictures that are still circulating online where we saw Senator Dino Melaye, you know, wearing some vest and then campaigning for him and all that. Now, moving over to Senator Dino Melaye's plight. What is this feud between both of them? Because he was part of the pass that actually brought him in power. What went wrong?
Yeah, definitely. I want to clarify that statement that is going around, making around, that Dino was part of him ab initio. There is nothing wrong. 2 or 3 things has joined them. 1, they belong to the same generation. 2, they belong to the same political party. 3, They are from Kogi State. They are indigenous of Kogi State. So there's nothing wrong for them coming together. You can disown your son, and your son can disown you, Uche, as you are sitting now, if it gets to that stage to take that decision. Dino Melaye, you know that he was almost the spokesperson of APC before the election. And there's no how you tell me Dino Melaye will not embrace a young man, no matter the tribe you are coming from or your location. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you are contemporaries. It belongs to the same generation.
So it was cool for him to have supported him to come.
Yeah, Dino was cool for him to have done that, to embrace him when there was no alternative again, because this is his party. And he would have done that too if Dino was brought, which is the same thing.
So what went wrong?
But then, I'm happy that Dino retrieved but did not surrender. The man turned against the people immediately. He is a greedy man. Yaya Bello is a greedy man. This is the man that came in with so much money, like Nigeria, they say they are fighting corruption. They are doing that. I think no, they are not fighting corruption. They are only recovering the stolen money or loot. If you are fighting corruption, we know the corrupt Nigerians and where they are. He was a civil servant on level 12 or 13, and he came into APC with so much money. He bought up to 30 boxes, campaign buses for APC. He printed all the clothes Kogi women were using to support Buhari during their campaign. He paid for the hotel anywhere they are going. He donated hundreds of millions to the party during campaign. And how did he come about this money? He was a civil servant at that time. So, Dino supporting him was because they belong to the same party. But when he turned out, he discovered that this man, if he allow him, then he will kill the state. He will kidnap the state and pocket it, because they are the one that almost killed the revenue and fiscal mobilization. How they are doing it, we don't know. It's left for government to get to know how the money was going. If they are collecting money from those who stole money now, and this government is shielding some persons because of party affiliation or connection or contact, another government will definitely come and then dust the file. So the man turned against the people. Once he stopped paying salary, he has conducted a series of screening for staff. And it is never a law or rule of screening that when you are screening somebody, a civil servant, you stop his salary. No. And when somebody is even on suspension, having done something wrong, you are placed on half salary because you must eat. Why should the civil servant who is going through screening not paid his or her money?
Now, so the reason he gave for non-payment of salaries for about 2 years now is because he's going through a screening exercise.
Yeah, in the name of screening. And he has conducted about 13 screening using taxpayers' money, close to 2 billion. It's so sad that people from Jigawa, Taraba were brought to screen Kogi civil servant. It hasn't happened anywhere before. Is there any sense in this? Is this man a correct person?
Okay,
so
okay.
He stopped their salary, diverted it. Kogi has gotten so much money, they gave them bailout fund of over close to 30 billion. Paris fund refunds was given to them close to 25 billion naira. And its allocation is on a constant basis. Every month Kogi is collecting no less than 4, 5, 6, 7 billion. But this man is neither developing or paying salary. He is doing nothing. He appointed his stooges, small boys, all these feeding bottle boys, to be local government administrator. I don't know the name, the nomenclature he's using for them. Who is giving them stipend? He gives them about 9, 8, 10 million, and they will sign the paper for 150, 60 million. And out of this 10 million, they have a master, one called Edward Onoja, who is the chief of staff, who gets back about half of what they are given again. So from local government to state government, the people are like walking corpses. I cry every day that I woke up to discover I'm a co-guide. The president is watching us. We're burying our people day in, day out. So there's no development, single physically, structurally. And what do you have? What nothing is going on. He has killed my state.
Okay, now we'll go for a short break, and when we come back, we'll get updates from you on Senator Dino Melaye's situation right now. Please stay with us.
Welcome to National Discourse.
Current affairs.
We must not extricate anybody from corruption. If any one of them is found wanting, the due course and the law must take its course.
Nation building.
Administration is slightly different from the last one in the fight against corruption.
We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in Hausa yang nakama. They are like agberu in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
What happened in Benue might be political. It still has an undertone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history.
It's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When the Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background. And today we are here in TSTV. And that is why we must propagate our own.
National Discourse. Weekdays on NCTV.
Welcome to National Discourse.
Current affairs.
We must not extricate anybody from corruption. If any one of them is found wanting, the due course and the law must take its course.
Nation building.
Administration is slightly different from the last one in the fight against corruption.
We need to really task our leaders, who are the religious leaders, from the emir, from the bishops, from whoever they can.
Some of our village markets, there are people, they call them in Hausa yang nakama. They are like agberu in the markets. Whatever anything is not useful to you is not important to you.
Politics.
What happened in Benue might be political. It still has an undertone, not political, dated way back. If you follow history.
It's interactive.
Not part of Nigeria.
Okay.
And it will not be good for us.
When they gather their people, they tell them, these Hausa people are your enemies. When the Hausas gather together, they tell them, these Igbo people are your enemies. When the Yoruba people gather together, they say the same thing.
Who are we? We are just from the background. And today we are here in TSTV. And that is why we must propagate our own.
National.
All right, so welcome back from that short break. And before we went for that break, we're talking about having an update on what is happening to Senator Dino Melaye. Now, I tried before we went for the break to link it up to the issues they're having, and you talked about party affiliation. The reason why probably the president is watching and nothing has been done. And then may I remind you again that Senator Dino Melaye belongs to APC, belongs to the same party. Now, on his arraignment and all that, what is the update we have? You know, coming from Kogi State, because we know right now he's still in Kogi State. He was denied bail and then was supposed to be remanded for 30 something days, you know, in police custody.
Yes, thank you very much. Dino Melaye, our able senator, is at the National Hospital where his health is being managed. He's not in Lokoja or neither in the cell. As we speak, he is in the hospital and is recovering seriously. But we pray nothing happens to the young man. You said, and I know he belongs to APC, but APC you have anti
Pro.
and pro. So the party is divided into two. Dino Melaye is so vocal and is ready to die. He has agreed to die. He has signed his own obituary and is keeping it. So a man on the floor will not fear fall. He made a detour. He turned back from Bello when he discovered that the man, if he is allowed, the direction and the speed he is going, he will demolish the state. And we all suffered, sweat to build the state. I was in the APC. I was the state secretary of ACN, one of the three components that joined up to form APC. I work for APC, seriously. I work for Buhari's emergence. Nobody can tell me he made more than I did in Kogi State. And Dino Melaye embraced Bello because of three things I've mentioned earlier: the age, grades, party affiliation, and the state. But when he discovered the character he is, because position will always throw you up, and he decided to turn his back against the pharaoh in office. The man is a pharaoh, a junior pharaoh. He loves money more than people's life, and Dino Melaye loves life more than money. So how can they agree? How can they go together? So when Dino raised up his voice that no way, I will not agree, or fold my hands, stand and keep, watch you suffer my people, take over the money, Commonwealth, and use it to buy property. He has bought houses everywhere, which everybody knows is on record. And then the first thing he did, he tried to kill Dino. He sponsored attack on him.
So may I still remind you that this is national television, so the words you use is attributed to you alone.
It's not the word I use, it's what that was reported. And Dino went to court on it. And he mentioned those who plan to kill him. He mentioned their name. The Algon chairman led them, and some boys were caught. So that was the genesis. If you want to know the genesis, we shouldn't sit on facts and pretend that all is well. And the world need to know what's happening. When you told me they are watching all over, if they're watching all over, they should know the truth all over. So it started from there. When they disagree, an attempt was made on his life.
Okay, can I pick a call? Hello.
Hello.
Yeah,
Good morning, madam.
Good morning. Please, your name and where you're calling from. Your name is what? Okay, okay.
I'm watching your program and I'm seeing what the young member there of the honorable news station have been saying. I want to ask a question to me.
Okay.
2019 there will be the first elections in the country, and looking at the situation of now, do you think, sir, that APC will win the national election, notwithstanding the issues and the way the present governor of Kogi State has been ruling the affairs of Kogi State? And secondly, on the issue of Dino Melaye, we are hearing the recent rumors that Dino Melaye may be considering running for the office of governorship in Kogi State. What are your responses to those allegations, sir? Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for calling. And let's remember again, before he responds, the number to call is 081-555-03050. And we are still talking about Kogi politics inside Kogi State. So please, can you likely reply or respond to these questions?
Well, if I heard him clearly, he asked a question about whether APC will still win back to back.
Yes.
And secondly, whether Dino Melaye if he's going to run for governorship. Yes, the decision belongs to the masses about who wins the next presidential election. The people decide it. I'm sure vote is counting halfway now. So people should go for what they want. I cannot decide for them or tell them who to vote for. I can tell myself who to vote for based on my assessment and confirmation of what I'm going to do. Secondly, Dino Melaye has not told me personally about any other ambition. From the look of things, he will definitely run for an office, which I cannot say here, but it's like he wants to go back to the Senate from what I have seen and what is happening. He will tell us if he has any other agenda or ambition apart from being a lawmaker. That's left for him to tell us as time goes.
Okay, before you continue with that, Your response to this question, if APC will likely be voted for again next year. Okay, I think there's a sharp contrast between that question, your response to that, and then your response earlier when I asked about the process that brought Yahya Bello in. Now, right now, you said that the people will decide, that the votes of people are going to count. Against the backdrop that you said the process that brought Yahya Bello in was not the vote of the people. How do you reconcile that?
Yes. He asked me a question. It was not specific. Either he's asking whether APC will win Kogi State or he will win Nigeria. And I answered based on Nigeria.
I think he's talking about Kogi State.
If it's Kogi State, I think the only thing that is holding them, those people there, is time. I can speak on that they will be shown the way out. Because nobody can go through another 4 years of this pain, this calamity. The people will not survive. The place will have been leveled up and turned to a cemetery. And we don't want to employ undertakers. We want to employ workers. I don't see him going back there. The beginning of the end has commenced on Saturday when they ran 2 different parallel world congresses. They stay in a room and write name. He was writing his own name. The Audu Falaki group were writing their name. But then, how many what's the population of APC in Kogi State? How many people are in APC? Those who decide and determine don't belong to any political party. They are out there. They are on ground there. The change continue. Change is unchangeable. The change is yet to manifest in Kogi State. What is happening in Kogi State is chained. People are chained. You know what I mean by chained?
Yes, I understand.
So
the
change will take place in 2019 when we're going to have our own governorship election. Definitely, they will use the same broom as the symbol of their party to sweep them out of Lugard House and out of Kogi State. That will be done.
All right. Looking at the fact that this is democracy and we have some constitutional provisions that when someone is not doing well or a governor or whoever becomes unpopular, there are processes at which the person can be removed from office. Now, if Governor Yahya Bello isn't so unpopular the way you're saying it, where lies the power of impeachment?
Yes.
Having in mind, sorry, sir, the fact that last 2 Saturdays, there was a recall process, in as much as it failed, but there was an attempt to recall Senator Dino Melaye. So, if the governor is not doing very well, why can't the people use their tool that have been provided in the Constitution?
Uche, are you done?
I'm done.
Thank you very much. In the first place, you don't give what you don't have. You cannot recall anybody you did not call. There was no recall attempt from those that elected the senatorial district. There was nothing like that. They didn't consider such option because Dino is the only person that has over 30 to 40 motions on the floor. He's doing excellently well. He's a yardstick for selection of senators or senatorial candidates in Nigeria today. So how will the people contemplate? I know these people to be very intelligent people. How can they remove somebody who is doing well? You don't change a winning team. So let's go back to the power to control the excesses or the impeachment of a governor in a state. Is restricted to the state assembly. They have the power to regulate, the power to impeach any governor that has gone outside the law to operate. The man has destroyed the law, is standing on it, and is operating. There's no state assembly in Kogi State. Fortunately, very, very unfortunate for us. Very unfortunate.
Are you saying they are not there or they are not functional?
We have a house with an inscription on it, state assembly. But the content of that house is far away from state assembly. We don't have it. I described them the other day as alkaline battery that are not rechargeable. When they died, they died. They died immediately. They were inaugurated.
Now,
they were dead.
This set of people at the state assembly, were they properly elected?
Some came in through the Buhari tsunami, and some where PDP was on ground. they use the kind of the glory to come. If not, they are properly assessed and they say they should vote, separate the election from any other person election to stand on their own. One or two of them will not survive. The only voice in the State Assembly, Honorable Friday Sani Makama, has been suspended, evicted from the House for over 13 months now. He rolled out Ghana Moscow to the rest Almajiris that are in the House. You know who an Almajiri is? Most of the Almajiris are people working with a plate.
Beg for money.
They work with plate. We go outside and we see them in restaurant and garage, they work with plate. Those in Kogi Assembly, the so-called members are Almajiris there. So the only person, the only voice is Friday San Makama representing Igalamela Odoro constituency. This is a man that has the liver to challenge him. This is a man that said no to what you are doing. I don't need this kind of money. He was ready to buy the man initially. The man thought he was having a good intention. He was with him. But when he discovered the same way Dino turned his back, he did it. And since assembly, like the broom in his hand, the symbol of the party, he used the rest, he brought them together to sweep this man out of assembly for him to have his way. Today, as we are, Kogi Assembly are reporting in Kogi Government House every day. They instead of their own office, they are entirely separated from the executive, but they report and they now escort the governor anywhere he's going on any mission. They are the supporters club of the governor. So they are just there waiting for the end of the month to smile to the bank and collect their money. At the time, they were not even paid for 6 months. Their constituency allowance that they're supposed to do for project, use for project for their people, is not being paid to them. So there was a time they had to go on their knees. They went before the deputy governor to help them beg the governor. They went together. The ceremonial deputy governor went with them again to beg, and they all begged, and they released 30% because salary is paid in percentage in Kogi State. So also allowance to state assembly is on percentage. Are you aware? You are working here and you are paid salary. Are you aware of anything called 15%, 20%, 25% salary? Have you ever been paid like that? Uche?
I'm sure you don't expect me to answer that question. But, sir, we know that the situation in Kogi State is bad. And actually, that's part of the reason we brought you here to talk to us about what is happening in Kogi State, and we appreciate that. Now, moving forward, what is the state of Senator Dinumale right now? What is fate?
Yeah, I'm so sad that you mentioned that the situation is bad in Kogi. You can see that I wear black and black because I am mourning.
Sorry, can we just take this call?
Okay.
Hello? Okay. You're welcome. Before you react to this, the number to stay call is 081-555-03050. Sir, you heard me very clearly.
Yes.
He called from Kogi State.
That's the issue I was addressing. The assembly boys are Belos boys. They can't impeach him. The only man there, like I told you, is Friday Sanima Kama, who has been on suspension for 13 months now. When he went to court and won his case, he returned back to the assembly. He was almost lynched. He was almost killed by the thugs of the governor. Governor, are you aware that the governor is forming a vigilante group and other military equipment, which was discovered at the port, and up till now, the clearance from the Minister of Defense or whichever authority, we're still waiting for it, has not been released. So he has an ulterior motive. He's ready to kill any of the assembly. So those boys there are now his almajiris. So they are now loyal to him, and they are now do his biddings. He has impeached 1, 2, 3, up to 4 speakers of the state assembly. So assembly is destroyed. No state assembly in Kogi State. So how can they impeach him? Nobody can impeach him. He has successfully destroyed the state assembly. He has successfully destroyed the civil service. He has successfully destroyed his own political party. APC, none of the ESCO of the party can go to government house, and they work to allow to win. I was part of them. I was the state secretary of ACN, like I told you, in that ESCO. I sat with them. Hadi Ametu was my chairman. I was his secretary. So we have been in opposition for 18 years. And while the party has still won, they are still in opposition in their own party. That's their own business. Dino Melai is a cat with 9 lives. They have tried everything to eliminate him, but God on his side, he's still alive. He's in the hospital, Trauma Care Center at the National Hospital Abuja, and he's cooperating seriously. He's coming back, and very soon he will join us on the field.
Okay, now what happens to his ongoing trial? Remember, he's been tried for criminal conspiracy and unlawful possession of firearms, and these are very heinous crimes as long as Nigerian constitution is contained. And you're talking about the court here. Now, what happens to these charges?
Well, there's no expect anything in your country. Senator Ndume was alleged to be financing Boko Haram. Was he treated this way? Are Boko Haram not armed? So they have alleged so many people of so many things. Dino's case, the root of his fight, we are aware of it. We know who are fighting him.
So do you think this is sheer victimization?
Yes. How can somebody from the Kina come to tell us that Dino gave him God? And Dino is not running a state election. He's running a sectional election. He's contesting senatorial election. He's a senator. Why should his talk come from the Kina? And some time ago, those boys were asked to identify Dino. They couldn't do that. The person that claimed that Dino gave him the gun. So that is a fabrication. And if you want to kill a dog, you give it a bad name, and then you eliminate the dog. That's what they want to do. But Nigerians will resist and rise if anything happens to Dino's life.
Against the background of the law?
Which law?
No.
Which law? It's an illegal thing. How? If you are now if the Dino is in court, what is the business of police with him? Police should hands up. If a case is in the court, why should the police take him to local yard, take him to this, arrest him here, 100 policemen guiding his house, 200 policemen guiding his house? The matter is already in the court. The first charges against him has been withdrawn. They have replaced them with something. They say they are an attempt to take his life. He jumped out of the car. I was there when Dino was taken away from SARS that day. I was the last person with him. I asked them to let me go into the vehicle with him. They said no, I should join the second vehicle or another vehicle. Dino sat in the middle of 2 policemen. One was with the window, the other one here. And that highest is the one with small window. I have the picture here that I can show you. With AC, was locked, closed. And they were well armed. And another highest following them behind. How can Dino jump through a hefty, strong policeman by the window to come out of the car?
Are you alleging he was pushed out?
Something happened.
Okay.
There. Either they want to.
Were you there?
I wasn't there at the time. I was a little bit behind in another vehicle coming with them.
Okay.
But I was there with him right from SARS when he wrote a statement. When they said the court, I asked the man taking him, which court are we going? The man said, you phone me. How can you phone me when you don't have my phone number? So the way they drive, immediately they move out of the premises of SARS, they zoomed off. That before we could catch up with them in Rawan, the people gathered and they say Dino Melai was brought down from the car. He was brought from the vehicle through the door, not through the window. He never jumped. Dino is not afraid. Why is he jumping?
Okay.
But the trick us.
Can we just pick this call? Hello, good morning. Good morning to you. Please, can you tune down the volume of your TV set? Sorry, your name, please. Okay, your name and where you're calling from, please.
Okay, I'm calling from Edo.
Okay.
Yes, listening to the thing that is happening in the Kogi. You know, everything happening national discourse now, we were watching it what happened right from the time in the national television. How the one that died, they were talking about the death of the governor, they took over the position of the man to get the governor's house and another issue. What we are not saying now today is another issue concerning the lady and the governor. What is the need to be two of them attractive? That is making this one to say this one is this one. The people of Kogi are dying. How can they survive when people are not pleased? Did you put ahead of all this and let people enjoy their life? Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for calling. So before I react to this, we were talking about the incident that occurred, and you were describing what happened. And I remember I asked if you were there present.
I was there.
Okay. So there was no possibility of Dino to have jumped out and missed tight security.
No, nothing like that happened. They crossed them. Some boys in Hilos crossed them.
Now, those boys in particular, where did they come from?
The police were there. They should have arrested them, and they were armed. Why didn't they arrest those boys? And they're now giving us a different version.
And there was no exchange of gunfire.
No exchange of gunfire, to my understanding. No. Police were there. They saw what happened. So if Dino was jumping through the window, why can't they hold him? Why were they there? Were they not there to protect, to stop him from going? If he's jumping through the window, why can't they, two of them sitting by his side, can't they hold him? Would Dino be stronger than two of them? So why are they lying? Don't be surprised that as I'm sitting down here, you hear another allegation about me. They bring hire some 4 or 5 person that say I gave them God. We are not new to detention or prison. And I told them, I can only be detained. I can never be retained in any prison. I was detained in Koto. I was in prison in Koto Kerfi. When I had issues like this with the former governor of Kogi State, Idris Wada. And it happened in 2014 during the kidnap of Chibok girls and Yanya Bobbin. I didn't even get to hear. They denied me of access to information. I was in prison in Koto prison. I was there. But I told them I will be here and I will live here. Can be detained, not retained. Listen to me. So this is an allegation. One, somebody instructed those boys to say Dino gave them gun. But what did they? Where were they arrested and what were they doing with that gun? Were they caught providing security with Dino with the gun Dino gave them? These are simple things. Even if you are not a lawyer, you should know this thing. Were they caught in Dino's constituency? Were they caught around Dino's house? Were they caught in Dino's vehicle? What a particular offense? Where were they caught? What were they doing? These are armed robbers and kidnappers. They were caught during operation. And somebody came and instructed them what to say just because they have issues, they have problems.
Can I take this call now?
Take any call, please.
Hello.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Please, your name and where you're calling from. All right. Please go ahead.
Yes, when you take a good look at what's happening in the state, I would love to ask your guest, Mr. Goodman. You're one of the contestants for the governorship position in Kogi State 2016, if I'm right now. But your name, something happened during the protest. Your name was omitted from the list of reactors. But we expected reactions from you, but you did not react. But that was not one of the major reasons why the election in Kogi State was there. We can be categorized as being faulty. But why was it that you did not react? Your followers were unkept quiet and no one reacted to it. Now the situation on ground is making people uncomfortable more than the level we are at the moment. So now the big question now is if all these politics that is playing out in Kogi State, is it going to affect the politics positively in 2019 or negatively?
All right, thank you very much for that question. I guess you heard the last question he asked.
Yes, very much. Maybe he did not follow the event. I went to the tribunal as far as the appeal court and so on, to state my case and to tell them reason why the election should not hold, should not stand, should be nullified, and a fresh one organized. And that's where we started from. That the Supreme Court, which you call court,
Supreme Court, not
court. Yeah, court. I call it
Court.
Supreme Court. Yeah.
Okay.
Took money and then stamped it with the authority being the apex court. Where do you go again? So I don't know where the man wants me to go. To take to the street and carry weapon. So we went to the tribunal. We went as far as Supreme everywhere, and the judgment was torn.
Can I take this call? Hello. We've lost it. All right. Before we actually round off, because our time is very, very, very fast spent, the number couldn't come up on time, but we really need to round off now. Now, from the last question I asked, which actually forms my last question, what is the fate of Senator Dino Melaye? What is the fate of APC? And you said you ran for gubernatorial election 2015.
Yeah.
Good. Now, are you going back there again? What can you do to salvage the situation that has befallen the people of Kogi State?
Thank you very much. We are all in prayers. If you ask me, I'm available to serve my people. I'm very willing to serve them, but not to lord or kill them. My service shouldn't be at the expense of anybody's life or do or die. No. I am available, but when I see a better and credible candidate than I do, I'll throw my weight behind that person. And about Dino Melaye, God is protecting him. His hands are clean, and I'm sure that is enough God will use to protect him. God sees his heart. If he's hiding or trying to deceive people, God will descend on him. But from my proximity to him, closeness, and what we're discussing, the direction we're going, the man meant well, and the man is out for the masses. So Dino Melaye, nothing will happen to him. He will be available. They want to silence the Senate. They want to silence Kogi State. He is the voice of the Senate, at the same time the voice of Kogi State. And I call him Trinity, 3-in-1 senator. He is representing the entire state. I am from a different senatorial district from his own, but Dino is my senator. I have confidence in him. Whatever I want to pass through the National Assembly, I pass it through Dino.
Okay.
And I have told you I'm available to serve, and I'm willing to serve anytime. I'm not for sale. I can never be suppressed by anybody, and I'm not afraid or intimidated by anybody. I'm available.
All right.
Very soon I'll get back to the world.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goodman, for coming to this program. And of course, the Nigerians, this is where we draw a curtain on this episode of Kogi Politics. We will surely have him back here again as much as we get update on Senator Dino Melaye. And for the good people of Kogi State, we actually implore you to stay back in prayers. We pray that God keep giving you the strength to surmount your troubles. And of course, the troubles we're talking about is the trouble of not payment of salaries for over 22 months.
27 months.
27 months. I mean, it's appalling. But then we pray that God give you the grace, and of course we employ the enforcement agencies or whoever that is in charge to swing into action to make sure that people don't keep dying because of what is happening in Kogi State. So I would have you back here.
Sorry to interject you. Workers' Day did not hold in Kogi State for 2 years consecutively now. 2017, 2018, there was no Workers' Day May Day ceremony in Kogi State because of this.
All right, we'll surely have you come back.
Thank you.
We'll have you full time to talk about this, and of course, I will give the viewers the opportunity to place calls and then get answers from you. Thank you very much. It's a sign out from me from National Discourse, Uche Uduma. We wish you good well today.